Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. There are links in the description below. I feel like I'm being trolled at this point. I feel like if I am, please tell me, because I feel like I'm part of some wider cosmic joke that I'm just simply not in on with everything that's been going on. You've seen, and I think you've seen, I've felt it. The videos have kind of been escalating the last couple of weeks. And I think it's personally, I think it's because of my frustration with logic not playing out. This was something that for context, we've gone over this for a couple of years. This isn't the first time that this is actually taking place. As far as me saying that Bitcoin's clearly undervalued, and then it was, and then the price went up. And that's usually because we've had instances before where this was also in 2021, if you were here. We had a number of institutions telling us back then that because of the amount of Bitcoin that was leaving exchanges, how little Bitcoin there was on Coinbase and on Binance, how much institutional buying was happening in 2021, that we were going to get to a $100,000 Bitcoin pretty easily. The problem ended up being the world issues that we had back then, so therefore makes a smidge of sense. When I say that Bitcoin's price should be higher, it's not wishful thinking, it's just absolute logic. If we have had 4 new companies who've popped up in the last 2 weeks announcing that they also won 100,000, 300,000, 500,000 Bitcoin, and they're currently on that train to go buy some, then clearly Bitcoin's undervalued. If we had, you might have missed this one. This was news from maybe 10 days ago, somewhere around there. Brian Armstrong, who's the CEO of Coinbase, said that he had been speaking with a number of people within the White House, and they're planning on, he says, this year buying 100 or 200,000 extra Bitcoin. I think potentially costing billions and billions. And this means that Bitcoin is not only scarce, but extremely undervalued. If we keep hearing how little Bitcoin is on crypto exchanges, how much Bitcoin is being bought, I think there's a weird disconnect in the mind between how little Bitcoin there is and how much is being purchased. We also had news recently that MicroStrategy, one company, is buying so much Bitcoin that Bitcoin is actually just based. So Bitcoin by nature is already deflationary. Is doing the face thing. Got it. Bitcoin's already deflationary. MicroStrategy is buying so much that it's actually knocked the deflation down by another 2.3%. Because they're buying more than is actually being mined over the course of a day. The problem there is that the amount of Bitcoin being mined each day is not hitting crypto exchanges. The 450, there's not a new 450 on the crypto exchanges because the people mining the Bitcoin want it for themselves. If there ever is a selling of Bitcoin, they sell directly to institutions or to banks. How do we know this? Because last year we had news from the largest crypto Bitcoin mining companies who said that they had world banks go to them directly and say, if you sell your Bitcoin, don't put it to the market, sell it directly to us. The only new Bitcoin that's hitting exchanges is from retail. How do we know that? Because we've had articles that we've gone over where the only people selling are retail. People who have 0.05 Bitcoin, a tenth of a Bitcoin, 0.16 Bitcoin. It has to do with frustration, annoyance, and impatience. If Bitcoin doesn't go up when they think, they sell. If prices dip by 1 to 2%, the first people to sell are retail. You know who buys up those coins? The banks and BlackRock and other institutions, as we've been going over for a while. When I say that this is all some kind of a weird cosmic joke, it's because these numbers don't make any sense. In one day, if you miss the news, and this is why I said the number keeps changing, because it's always going down. We had news 3 weeks ago. This is going to sound familiar. We had news 3 weeks ago. The amount of Bitcoin on exchanges hasn't been this low since November 2018. And I said a week after that video, the number's lower because the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges continues to dwindle. We're seeing corporations and companies and institutions and world banks and governments and sovereign wealth funds buying up Bitcoin slowly. They're buying it up as to not move prices quickly. They're doing so that they can accumulate as much Bitcoin as they want, which there's not a lot of, while you don't pay attention, and then in the future there's none left for you. Bitcoin's made for the public, not for the governments who are buying it. In one day, on Coinbase, 9,739 Bitcoin were taken off of Coinbase. I'll round it up to 10,000 for you on one crypto exchange. This is not the outflows on Binance, on Kraken, on Gemini, on OKX, or any other exchange around the world where they're also having decreases. You want to know why this one made the news? Because it was the highest number. 10,000 Bitcoin gone from a crypto exchange like that, taken off and placed into a wallet that doesn't sell. This is happening every single day. We got news before that the amount of Bitcoin on OTC, over-the-counter markets, is also rapidly decreasing all the time. There's almost not enough Bitcoin left for institutions to buy that's not spot. They're going to be forced to buy on these exchanges in mass. There's no real way around it. We are entering a period where people are talking about that $500,000 per Bitcoin is chump change. It's absolutely nothing, because it's going to go to several $1,000,000, because by the end of this year, 2 companies are going to have over 1 million Bitcoin. 2. This feels like a gigantic joke. This feels like I'm being, like, someone's playing a trick on me. I could have never imagined that something like this was possible. MicroStrategy's buying has made Bitcoin more deflationary. I can't imagine when the last time we had this little Bitcoin on exchanges. I honestly cannot imagine, like, the actual time. Was it 2014? Was it 2012? It's not June yet. It's not August. It's not October. How little Bitcoin will there be by then? How many more governments will have been buying huge amounts of Bitcoin? What happened to the other companies? who are also going to be buying 100,000, 200, 300, 400,000 Bitcoin this year. The last thought. I'm sorry for being so intense. The fact that people, it's one thing for my mind to conceptualize that people not in crypto, people around the world just aren't paying attention. Got it. The fact that people within crypto care nothing about this news, and you're literally allowing governments and corporations to buy Bitcoin and crypto before you, is disgusting. I mean, it's actually completely rotten. In 15 to 20 years, when we move over to some brand new standard, I was having a conversation with someone about this. It's abundantly clear where this is going. It's clear who the winners are going to be at the end of this race. The fact that people within crypto who know this news, who get this news every 24 hours, don't take advantage of any of this is gross. Because I want you to remember these moments. I've said this a lot of videos this year because I think my mind and the market can't take anymore. In the future, when you realize how expensive Bitcoin is, and I'm gonna throw out a number, 3.8 million. When Bitcoin gets there, I want you to have no regrets, like zero. I want you, if you have no Bitcoin, if you don't have enough, if you whatever, and you realize how expensive it is, and you remember my words back from when we were talking about Bitcoin was $8,000, remember these moments. Like really, truly remember them. Bitcoin's not for these companies and corporations. It's for you. It's for the average person to get away from the old system. The old system has decided that this is the answer, and they're buying up all the thing that was made for you. So when they make this the new system, do you have enough? Anyway, yeah. This is one exchange in one day. This isn't over the course of a week. This is one day. So, yeah. Good times ahead. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I'll talk to you all soon. See you.